Well, I think you first of all don't know exactly the cause, but some of the things you would suspect were either something structural with the heart or something electrical that maybe just didn't go well or went awry. And you hope it's something that's transient, a one-time thing that goes away. The good news is he went to the ICU and was discharged from the ICU relatively quickly. So that's good news because believe me, young person, any person, if there's a continued issue, they're not leaving the ICU or cardiac care unit. So that's good news as far as he's concerned. Still, though, it's concerning. You want to find out why.
So it's not really, we don't have to jump to the conclusion that his basketball days are over just because of this story. Have you had experience where people can continue athletic careers after something like a cardiac arrest?
Absolutely. You actually see it both ways. You have seen situations where people, if they have a cause that would be worsened by the strenuous activity, they don't play. But you see other people who are able to continue. It was a one time. And again, not knowing the cause, like you, I would definitely not be saying that it's the end of his career or anything. Right now, you just want him to get better and to find out what the reason is. And, as tough as some of these things are, the fact that it happened in a controlled setting where it was witnessed, where they could get him help, that's also really important too. Because, most people when they're playing sports are not always in that kind of a setting, and that can be really bad as well. So that was important for him.
Dr. Brian McDonough is joining us. He's a clinical professor of family medicine at Temple University School of Medicine, the host of the Dr. Brian McDonough Show podcast. It has helped us out throughout the years on a lot of things, COVID, most notably. You are so invaluable for us, Dr. McDonough, during the entire Damar Hamlin situation, which looks like he has obviously made a full recovery. Reading through some of and we're just so happy that we avoided a tragedy, and the James family avoided a tragedy here with Bronny. But reading some of the details that are out there, the fact that he was unconscious, reportedly unconscious for at some stretch of time, does that matter in the details? Like when you take the forensics of what happened today, does being unconscious mean anything?
What that means is, for whatever reason, there wasn't oxygen going to the brain. So at that point, you would lose consciousness. But you don't take anything else from it. Obviously, if it was an extended period of time, and we have not heard that or have any reason to think that, then you worry about other issues. But once again, he wouldn't be out of the ICU had there been those issues. In the case of Hamlin, remember, they were very worried about that because that was an extended period of time, and they were able to get the heart going and restore that the blood flow to the brain. But this does not sound like anything like that extreme, at least from the reports we have.
Dr. McDonough, I'm not sure how involved with this story you were, if you remember it. But when Hank Gathers died in 1990, what impact did that have on the way sports and medicine collided? Was that, to me, that was such a sea change event. Did everyone look at sports differently and say, hey, we got to be very careful, and maybe did it improve that kind of condition for athletes?
I remember that dramatically. It was the early part of my broadcasting television career, and I remember doing the story. And also, Gathers was a Philadelphia athlete and legend, so it really hit that. And his coach, Paul Westhead, his coach, went on to the Lakers and other things, but he was a coach at Loyola Marymount where he was playing. And in his situation, they had identified a problem, and he actually was on a medication that would make it better. But that medication at the time, I believe it was a beta blocker, it made him a little more lethargic, not moving as quickly as he wanted. So he had pulled himself off it. Mm-hmm. And as a result of that, he was more prone to have the problem. And again, the thing that came out of that, besides the horrible tragedy, was the fact that we started to get those AED devices, the devices to resuscitate people on the scene everywhere. And I think we got that now with Hamlin. We've seen it even more, like the need to have devices that can bring people back, whether it's high school, college, professional level, or in school settings. Just because you're young, these weird pathways in the heart, and that was an electrical issue with him, the weird pathways can cause problems and lead to that. So I do remember that being traumatic. And because I think it was on video, it was something that really shocked a lot of people when he went down.
Dr. McDonough, anything else you think our audience should know about this? I know it's really early, but obviously it's of huge interest to sports fans because not only Bronny's father, LeBron, but also Bronny is starting this career in college basketball where his, goals are going to the pros. So we're all very interested in the story. Anything else we should know at this time?
Well, I think we have to worry right now, especially with social media and so many people making comments, not to jump to any sort of conclusions of either the cause, his future, or whatever. Everybody's going to be an expert. Sure. But I can tell you, from treating people over many years, these things have to play out. We have to find out why. We have to see what the next steps are. And obviously, he's going to get the best care, and they're going to put his care first. But right now, I just think it's a situation you want to get him stable. And then from there, he's a young man, hopefully will bounce back and do very well going forward.